performance and the fact, I'm happy. I was talking to the boys from Red Men TV today. I'm just happy we didn't get battered as well, because I did have a horrible feeling, a little gut feeling that maybe we could be on the end of a battering. So yeah, overall, very, very pleased, very, very happy indeed. A decent weekend. Not for Arsenal though. More drop points, you guys.
You know what? Actually, I just realised I'm the only one on the panel that won, which makes a change. Which makes a change for the last couple of months. You know what I mean? Yeah. So hold that, Potsy. You know what I mean?
Most people held losses or draws this weekend, it seems, man. City are back, mate. City are back.
Yeah. You know what it is though? So because I think the league title's done now personally, but and people are saying, "Oh, that's boring," and it is boring in terms of the league, yeah. But what it's actually done now is creating quite a lot of debate about, especially Arsenal, because I think City will sort this out, and we've got a history of obviously doing this. But like with Arsenal, I'm seeing so much debate now on your club about like, are you like actually serious in the transfer windows? Obviously, in the past, you've discussed that. Like, what are you going to do in January? Are you going to try and rectify this situation? Because whilst I don't think you're going to win the league, like if you signed like some quality players in January, you're not a million miles away. But it's like, are you actually going to do that? You know, and now the pressure's ramping up on Arteta as well, because he's obviously needs to actually win stuff. The good news for him is he's still in the two cups. Well, not obviously played the FA Cup yet, but still in the Carabao Cup and that. But for Arsenal, man, I think it's put up or shut up time for you now. You know, it's been 5 years. You've not won the league yet. And, you know, you spent a lot of money. And I think, you know, something's got to happen this year, bro. For me, you got to win something.
Facts. And I think now there's been a section of the fan base that have realised perhaps Arteta isn't the Messiah they thought he was. I think there's also a section of the fan base that are saying, hang on a minute, calm down, we're still in everything. And the debate will go on. And unfortunately, we're getting closer and closer to a Wenger in and out situation that we were in only a decade ago. And people will start to say how toxic it is and how people are not together and united. Listen, the Arsenal fan base has not been united since we moved to the Emirates, if I'm honest with you. So it's no real shock here. What I will say is that there's certain YouTubers who I work alongside who, along with myself, really have been saying that this has been coming. The squad isn't nowhere near good enough. The transfer window was a shambles in the summer. And when you need to go and do more business in January, it means you didn't really do enough business in the summer, right? And now everyone's saying that Arsenal need to go and sort January out, which clearly means that the summer was a shambles, which we told everybody it was. So you get myself and Troops and Turkish and Curtis and some of the other individuals that have kind of been saying for a while, like, this isn't looking right. The squad doesn't look good enough. An injury to Saka or Odegaard or Saliba and we'd be in big trouble. And what happens? Pretty much all of them, other than Saliba, have got injuries, and touchwood, Saliba doesn't get injured either. I think there's a lot that's on Mikel Arteta this season, though, because as much as I do look at problems above, and I do actually believe the ownership is the biggest problem at Arsenal, and I've been quite consistent on that, I do not think that Mikel Arteta is good enough to win us a Premier League title or a Champions League. And I've made that quite clear as well. And I just think that he keeps showing me more evidence as to why he's not the guy. I don't know what you two would say about Arsenal's performances, to be fair, in the last couple of sort of games that you've seen, or the last few months, to be fair, at the start of this season. I think the in-game management and the tactics has been bizarre. I think this time-wasting thing has got to stop. I think when you're time-wasting at 1-0 at 26 minutes and you're getting booked for it and players suspended, that's really not good. It's actually quite pathetic and embarrassing. I also think when you look at the style of play, I don't know where the scintillating football from 22-23 has gone. And even on the back end of last season, we were really good to watch. I remember, LB, you would talk to me on my show and your show about, do you know what? Actually, Arsenal look bloody good. And I'm pretty scared that they could actually win this league. And for the last two, I think it's fair to say Manchester City have actually had to look at Arsenal going, cool, when are they going to drop off then? They're looking good. Now, I mean, fair enough, Man City have dropped off as well. But I don't think anybody's looking at Arsenal at the moment thinking, wow, this is not a team I want to play at the moment. You know, Newcastle are on fire at the moment. They're thinking tonight, I fancy your chances here because the way they're playing, it ain't great. And I think Manchester United will probably do the same at the weekend as well. I don't think they'll be going to the Emirates thinking, oh my God, it's going to be 4 or 5, you know? People in the chat saying, oh, he's talking out of his arse. It's because they're so against the fact that they want Mikel Arteta to succeed and get across the line. And they are so hurt and they're so bitter about the fact that he might not. And I don't know why. It might not be him that's the guy, people. Seriously, Gooners, we might need to get another manager. We might need another ownership. We might need another direction. What's wrong with saying that? I don't think that's a crime.
Listen, for me, I think at the end of the day, I said this, multiple times over like recent months and years, is like Arsenal are a massive club, yeah, and they certainly were a massive club when I was growing up, anyway. Yeah, I don't know if they're a massive club anymore, if they're just going to keep keeping a manager who don't win him anything. Arsenal are not there to hold Arteta's hand through his development as a manager.
Exactly.
This is his first ever managerial job, right? And yeah, listen, he's doing well for his first ever job, but not well enough for Arsenal Football Club. And that's coming from a City fan. Now, I've got no right to tell Arsenal fans what they should and shouldn't. If Arsenal want to keep a manager who doesn't win anything, yeah, and Arsenal fans want to do that, no problem. It's your club, not mine. All I'm saying is Arsenal, one of the biggest clubs in the world, the fan base for Arsenal Football Club is absolutely enormous. Yeah, you make millions and millions of pounds in revenue. You got a massive stadium, and you used to win things. So for me, as an outsider looking in, the reason why I always ask the question is because I'm sort of like, are you just going to keep this guy forever? At what point do you say that enough's enough? And that's up to Arsenal fans, and that's up to Arsenal Football Club. And listen, if Arsenal fans want to sit here and say, I'm going to give him another year, I'm going to give him another year, that's fine, do what you want. But the fans that want him out, like are Potsy, like asking questions about it because he's not won anything in the last 4 years despite spending £750 million. It's a more than reasonable question. For me, yeah, he's got to win something this year. Now, whether a Carabao Cup this year is enough for certain Arsenal fans to say, keep him for another year. Again, that's up to them. But for me, when you're 5-6 years into the project, you spent 750 million, you should be targeting the Premier League and the Champions League and winning those. And this is why I've said for the last couple of years, I think Arteta's missed a trick in not really going for those domestic cups. Pep, when he first came in, he just hammered that Carabao Cup 4 or 5 years in a row, got trophies, got that winning mentality. Arsenal don't have that because they don't win anything. So let's see if they can win anything this year. I mean, they've got a great chance because City are miles off it. Liverpool might be focused on Premier League and Champions League, and Slot might take his eye off the ball, the domestic competitions, who knows. But listen, if he wins something, do you give him another year? I probably would. If he won something, I'd probably give him another year. So that all the haters in the chats, I'm saying that. If you win a Carabao Cup or FA Cup, I'd give him another year. But if he doesn't win something, nah. See you later.
I think the thing is, you look at the chat. Sorry, Tel. You look at the chat. And you think, there's kind of a lot of people saying me and LB are talking out of our backside. Why do you think that? What is it that we're saying that you think? Because I think what we're doing is we're just stating facts. We're not even giving much of an opinion. We're just saying Arsenal aren't winning stuff at the moment, and we kind of need to if Arteta.
They don't like it. Don't like it, Potsy, because I've called these guys out. Yeah, I'm saying if these Arsenal fans want to sit here and keep a manager that doesn't win anything year after year after year, fine, no problem. And they don't like it. These fans, they don't like it because they've got to accept that some of these fans are losers. Do you know what I mean? Some of you are losers because you're accepting a manager that doesn't win. Now, if you want that and you want that for your football club, crack on. It's not my club. I don't care. I'm just saying, like, when I was growing up, and I don't know how young some of these guys are, but you'll know it, Potsy, and so will Terry. Arsenal were an elite club, man. Yeah, they were in Premier Leagues, Invincibles. They were very, very close to winning a Champions League. That team they had was unbelievable. Yeah, and now they've probably got one of the biggest fan bases in the sport. It's fucking massive. Yeah, all over the world. And I just think
we got
you
as well.
Hold yourself to a higher level, but you don't want to. Don't crack on, innit?
No, look, I think what you're saying is facts, and I grew up winning, so maybe I'm a bit spoiled, right? Some of these younger fans have grew up with us coming 8th and 5th, and now they're seeing a second and think this is like a trophy. Unfortunately, it's not. It's not a trophy when you come second. Yeah, when you come second, third, and fourth, it means those three have not won it, and the team that come first win the trophy. That's how it works, people. Yeah, unless it's changed in the last 30 years that I've been following the sport. So, like Arsenal Granny here is saying, "Oh, worst person giving unbiased conversation about Arsenal." What am I saying that's wrong? Arsenal at the moment are not where they want to be. Arsenal are trying to get there, and my question mark is: have we got the ownership and the manager to do that?
Let me ask you a question, Potsy. Let me ask you a question. Yeah, would you keep Arteta if he won the Carabao Cup this year?
If he challenges to the end, if he challenges right to the end with Liverpool, I think Liverpool are going to win the league. Let's just say it's Liverpool. If he challenges right to the end and he takes them to the wire like he did City last year and he wins the Carabao Cup, I have said I'd be happy to see him stay because I feel like he's won something and he can say, I've won something with this team. I've now installed a bit of winning mentality in it. And then, do you know what? Let's go again next year. But if he finishes trophyless and he finishes 7 or 8 points off of Liverpool, how's that progression?
This week's an interesting one for me for Arsenal. And I say that because the Christmas period was fraught. So many games. The Champions League went on for longer because there's extra games. It's going to continue in January, which is crazy when you consider it to normal. My club, Man United, we were desperate for some training sessions. And I think we saw an improvement Sunday due to that. I was looking at Arsenal's fixture list, just mainly because me and KJ were planning our shows and planning our whereabouts for January. And it's you're playing tonight, then you're playing Man United Sunday, then you're playing midweek against Spurs, then you're playing the weekend in the league, then you've got a Champions League game. It's non-stop. And I was thinking about this next week. You've got injuries, but you're still going to have to rotate.